output stabilization. Now let us learn about biasing and need for biasing. We know that biasing means providing external DC supply. Here biasing means providing proper DC voltages to make the transistor work as an amplifier even after input signal is applied. That means we are applying input signal as AC signal. This AC signal may transfer transistor's Q point from active region to saturation region or to cutoff region. This will not helps us to give faithful amplification at the output. To provide proper amplification and proper output, biasing is required. In the biasing is arranged in such a way that forward biasing the emitter base junction and reverse biasing the collector base junction. That means we know that to make any transistor as an amplifier, we have to forward bias the base emitter junction and reverse bias the base collector junction. Then the transistor will act as an amplifier. And the main need of the amplifier is already we have discussed, that is to work transistor as an amplifier throughout the process. That is the main need of the transistor biasing. For biasing a transistor, we require a DC supply. Let us see what are the techniques and how a transistor is. Biasing techniques. Biasing techniques are nothing but the ways how a transistor is biased. Some of the biasing techniques are fixed biasing, collector to base biasing, and voltage divider biasing. Fixed biasing, this is a simple circuit, and this is also a biasing, one of the biasing techniques. And collector biasing is also somewhat similar to fixed biasing, and the most prominent and most effective way of biasing is voltage divider bias. Let us see why it is. And first we are going to discuss about fixed biasing. Fixed biasing, let us see why it is called fixed biasing. In this we are using common emitter configuration of a transistor. Let us see this. This is an NPN transistor and emitter is grounded. Now let us analyze the circuit first. This is the circuit diagram of fixed biasing technique. In this we are supplying a single voltage source and this is the transistor. In this we are using collector resistor RC and base resistor RB, and this is the NPN transistor. We know that the voltage drop between collector to emitter is VCE and the voltage drop between base to emitter is VBE. Let us see this. This is the power supply. This is a single source power supply, and this is the input side loop, and this is the output side loop. At the base we will give input and at the collector we will take output. Likewise this circuit is designed. Let us see what is the stability of this circuit and how it is useful. Fixed biasing. We have seen that emitter is common and single voltage source is applied. Now let us apply KVL at input loop. The KVL is, this is single voltage source plus VCC and this is the input loop. Then the KVL will be VCC is equal to IBRB plus VBE. That is, the total voltage supplied is equal to sum of voltage drop across resistor and voltage drop across base emitter. This is the input loop, and from this we can calculate RB. We know that RB value is fixed and we can choose this RB value as per the equation, that is VCC minus VBE by IB, that is equal to RB. And we know that this VBE, that is base to emitter voltage drop, is very less. If it is a silicon transistor, it is nearly 1, and if it is a germanium, this is nearly 0.5 or 0.7 or etc. So we can neglect the VBE, and then the RB value will be VCC by IB. We know that VCC is a constant voltage source that is provided for biasing, and IB is a constant current, that is, as the RB and VCC is constant, and IB will be same. So as the VCC, that is voltage source, and the RB are constant values, then IB will be constant. So then the RB value is constant. And now apply KVL at output loop. We have seen that this as a output loop. If you observe here also, the voltage source is common. So then the KVL will be VCC, that is the total voltage supplied, is equal to voltage drop across ICRC, that is the resistor current, voltage drop across resistor RC, and voltage drop from collector to emitter. Then we can also calculate RC from this equation, that is VCC minus VCE by IC. For the calculation of RC and for the calculation of Q point, this equation is required. That is, for the Q point, we will take VCE values on x-axis and IC values on y-axis. We will take RC as a constant at the initial condition, so we can easily calculate IC and VCE. As VCC is also constant, we can calculate the value of the Q point. Keep it aside. From that, apart from that, now we have to calculate the stability factor of this circuit. This stability factor will give that some value. We can choose from that value that this circuit is useful for our operation or not. So for stability factor, now let us take the input KVL equation, that is VCC by VCC is equal to IBRB plus VBE. Differentiate this equation with respect to IC. We will get VCC by IC, that is VCC is constant, we will get 0, and RB is also constant, so RB into DIB by DIC plus VB is also constant now, so this is equal to 0. From this, if you transpose RP, 0 by RP will equal to 0, then we will get DIB by DIC is equal to 0. We have seen earlier that stability factor equation is 1 plus beta by 1 minus beta into DIB by DIC. Now substitute the DIB by DIC value as 0 in this equation. We will get cancelled this total term, and we will left with 1 plus beta by 1. This is nothing but S is equal to 1 plus beta. We know that the gain of a common emitter transistor is somewhat high, that is it is up to 100, that is beta value will be 100, and 1 plus beta will be equal to very high. And we have seen that for a stable operation, the transistor stability factor must be less than or equal to 25. So this is greater than 25, and this is 4 times that of the practical value. So it will not give proper functioning and proper stability to the circuit. And also we will see what are the advantages and disadvantages with this circuit. If we see that this circuit is having one transistor one resistor and one base resistor. That means these are two resistors and one single power supply. These are very less components for any biasing circuit, so that this circuit, this fixed bias circuit, is required very less components. So it is a and this design is also simple. This is a simple circuit, and this is one of the advantages. And this design is not so much complicated, so this is very easy to design. And coming to the disadvantages, the main drawback of this method is high stability factor. This is the main drawback, and we require this as very less, but we are getting this very high. This is the main drawback of this method. Finally, we have completed fixed biasing, and let us move to collector biasing in the next video.